Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that are usually unknowable. Get ready for an hour of insight and fascinating entertainment with Dr. Linda Salvin. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Linda has been one of America's most celebrated psychic readers, metaphysical clinicians, and unmatched talk show hosts, bringing insights and solutions to thousands of people worldwide. Pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Starlight Café. I am Dr. Linda Salvin, a psychic healer and a medium, and your host for the next 50 minutes of this particular broadcast. Today I'm going to cover psychic abilities, near-death experiences, and metaphysics, and what all of that entails, and how I am a metaphysician, a doctor of metaphysics. I received my PhD at what is now a closed school called the American Institute of Holistic Theology. I am board certified by the American Alternative Medical Association. And I have a master's degree in public health epidemiology, which is the big word since the pandemic. Everybody learned about epidemiology, which is the study of epidemics and diseases. So in a nutshell, those that don't know me, you'll learn that I went from science to psychic, having had an interlude with spirit back in 1981 when I survived a commercial airline plane crash. And that plane crash changed my life. I had an out-of-body experience. I was 50 feet out of my body for about 4 months. I was split in half. And when I even told the doctors I was split in half with the people on the plane field when we crashed, they put me on a gurney and took me to the hospital, where I stayed for 4 days trying to figure out what had happened. But it took actually 12 years for me to accept the fact I'd become a psychic. And it took the first 4 months being out of my body, full of fear, searching, trying to figure out what was going on, to even begin to feel like I was on the planet. It was like being a cyclops. Saw life out of 50 feet above and 5 feet 8 over here. And one was spiritual, psychic, and the other was material and physical. And I was trying to blend in both worlds, because the first time in my life, I was 27 at the time, I saw things I'd never seen. I heard things I'd never heard, and I started speaking words I'd never had in my vocabulary. What had happened to me is I became what's known as a walk-in, and a walk-in is where a soul leaves and another takes over, and the body walks with a new purpose. The soul takes over where the other left off. I didn't understand any of this until it happened to me. And about a month or so after the plane crash, a friend of mine suggested I go see a psychic to get some help, because I didn't know what was going on. And everybody kept saying everything I was saying to them started happening and coming true. So I was becoming prophetic and psychic, not even understanding it. And again, this is 1981, folks. This is pre-internet. Okay, there was no internet back in 1981. That didn't hit till 1996. So there was a lot of stress, a lot of confusion, a lot of PTSD, a lot of sleeping, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of not knowing where I was, what's going on. And all my friends were getting married and having babies and building houses and having big careers. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? So I went off on a different path than the people I grew up with and went to school with. And I left the typical world I was accustomed to, and not with ease. It was not with ease. But becoming psychic means that there are clairvoyant, which is the seeing of things, the clairaudient, which is hearing things, the clairsentient, which is feeling things that are going to happen, precognitive ideas, predictions. My job is I can give predictions in a reading as to what's going to happen in your love life, your career, your finances, your spiritual growth, family members, travel, investments, purchasing or selling property. I do all of it. I mean, I've worked with people who are homeless and got them out of their car into a job. One even got an Academy Award, whose name I can't mention, to people who've worked in the White House and everybody in between, lawyers, doctors, academics, teachers, university deans, Girl Scouts, people in college trying to see if this is the man for her or if this is the girl for him. And people of all ages come for help. We all want guidance. We all need spirituality, and we all need to see the light, because we are taught and brought up to believe one thing, And what I do spiritually has nothing to do with religion. I was raised Jewish. I have a Jewish identity, but it doesn't mean I practice my Judaism on a daily basis or with all holidays or going to temple like a lot of people do. I identify as Jewish, but I also see other religions. I see other icons or leaders or methods or words, and I bring it all together. I don't belong to any one unit other than my own connection with what I call God, which can be a higher power, which can be a doorknob, it can be a tree, it could be whatever your belief is, and something outside yourself that creates all this. And for years on radio, for those that don't know me, I started radio in 1994 here in Los Angeles, California. I was chosen out of over 300 psychics to do what was called the Nighttime Psychic Hour with a guy named Steve Woods, who's unfortunately deceased, but that was 1994, and I was on the air for about 6 months with him, twice an hour, and I would take calls off from the station of the listeners, and I had people call me off there, and I built my business from there. Prior to that, I was with Psychic Friends Network with Dionne Warwick, and I was in the infomercial that ran in 1992 and 1993, and I left and went out on my own. Then radio opened up, and radio went from 94, which I want to thank Fred Missman, who is the voice of the commercial you hear at the beginning and the end. It's his voice that gave me all my elements throughout the years of doing radio. 29 years he's recorded my commercials and intros, and he's still my biggest fan out there, and he's still my biggest cheerleader to keep me going. But he believed in my gift, and he created the radio psychic. Fred Missman created me as the original radio psychic in 1994, and I got on the air. Then when that segment was done and the company wanted to move on, he said, "You're not done with radio. You need to go on with your own show." And I'm like, I don't know anything about radio. But he taught me how to produce and host my own show. And that started in 1994, 95. Now I don't even remember. But it was 94. I was end of 94, but by 95, I had gone to another station. So I was on one station one time a week, 1 hour. And then I got recruited to another station for one night a week, 2 hours a night. And then it always drains and hurts me. I sleep a lot, and I get attacked a lot, and I get backstabbed a lot. Misty, I'll get into the pain in a moment. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish being a psychic on anybody. But I got into radio, and then I went from 1 night a week to 2 nights a week to 5 nights a week. The show became very, very successful back in the late 90s and early 2000s till about 2004. And then I left for an FM station and finished off my career before CBS Radio went off the air back in 2009, which was the beginning of the growth of the internet radio stations. So I was in that mix of going from AM, FM, which is called terrestrial radio. In between, they developed satellite radio, and then they got to the internet radio. So I've been through all of it, and here I am. I'm still moving forward. And it'll be 30 years in March that I've been in broadcasting. And I have won awards. You can see behind me. There's a couple of awards. Here's one, and there's one down here. I've had, I think, 3 radio broadcasting awards, one for the work I do, plus the amount of calls I would take in a show with a lot of commercials. And then in my office, this is my studio, but in my office, I have 2 awards that I received over the last couple of years for my contribution to the health industry, combining metaphysics and public health with radio. Nobody's ever done what I do because I created what I took from my background and Fred created, and I evolved. So the radio psychic, and then into metaphysics. I got my PhD in 2008. I was 54 years old then. I'm turning 70 in a couple of months. It's blowing my mind. I can't believe it, because when we were young, I think 70 is really old. Well, now I see I still have a lot of goals and plans for the next 20, 30 years. God willing, we're all still here to do it. So part of staying young is being spiritual. Part of understanding life is opening up spiritually. Part of getting what you want is being spiritual. And the more spiritual you become, the more dependent you become, because you're depending or trusting a power greater than yourself or a God. And the gifts evolve. So to answer Misty's question about the pain and drain, when I was on radio and doing about 10, 15 readings a day, plus the radio at night from 9 to 11 p.m. Pacific, and then coming home by midnight and unwinding by 2 and starting the next day, I literally was working all the time, to the point the book's coming out next year. It's just been completed. you'll hear all about the book. It's actually a 30-year journey or 40 years. It's taken me a long time to put the book together because new chapters and new ideas kept happening, or different twists and turns in life. I wasn't ready to just do a book on NDEs, which is near death, but it involves the near death, the 3 near-death experiences from the plane crash, the fire truck, and then totaling a car and having the white light. But it also involves a lot of my clients whose loved ones I channeled, and some of who have been on the show that testify. And I've got a lot of their testimonies and written testimonies and photographs of the ones that have been are gone, or a certain entity in the bedroom or something I picked up in the reading. All the people have sent pictures to prove that what I did was real. So the book's coming together. But back to the radio and everything. I got on radio, and the psychic gifts just started evolving. And as I was saying, when I was doing radio and all the readings, and then I got into channeling. Channeling is not reading. Reading is giving predictions, psychic predictions of love, money, moving, travel, career, investments, just what's happening in life, opening people up spiritually. Healing people is something different. I got that gift of metaphysical healing after I had emergency surgery in 1991. So here's the date lines. 1981 was the plane crash. 82 was the fire truck accident. 84, I totaled the car, had the white light, was out there trying to figure it all out. 91, I got sick, and the doctor said I either had to have a hysterectomy or I would die. And I said, I don't like the statistical change. I don't want to be a statistic. And he gave me that choice, one or the other. So I obviously stayed to live. But after I had my surgery, I became a healer. So I gave up music, and all this energy would come out of my hands and started helping people. And that's documented in the book in certain areas as well. And then I developed a lot of tumors, and 100 tumors were removed from my hips and thighs in 1996 from all the energy. The negativity I took it from my clients, the people, and I put it back in my body. But once the tumors were removed, I started channeling dead people and pets. So I became a medium. So accidents I became psychic. One surgery, I became a healer. The second surgery, another surgery, I became the medium. And then I've had about 12 surgeries along the way. But those were the 3, 4, 5 significant changes in my life that took me from where I was on my path as who I was back then to how I am today, many years later. So I've had a lot of hard knocks. The average person does not survive a plane crash. The average person totals a car and doesn't walk away from that. The average person doesn't become a psychic just because they hit their head on something, but a lot of us do. A lot of us go through trauma and then become psychic. It's not something I was born with. I think we're all intuitive. Yes, everybody has intuition. Everybody has God. Whether or not you see it, believe it, feel it, or understand it, that's up to your growth and your lessons. But to make it into a career as I was led to do, nah, it's a calling. So I felt like I was initiated after all those accidents. So the pain and the exhaustion, because I pull energy from everybody I talk to. I pull energy to get the answers. I tap in psychically to understand where they're going, what he's feeling, what she's feeling, what about the boyfriend, what about the husband, what about the girlfriend, what about the father. So I pick up all these energies, and then it becomes a part of me, but I'm channeling back or giving back the answers spiritually. By the time I'm done, especially after channeling, I am wiped out. I'm drained. I officially retired from channeling in 2018. I still do it, as you know, a few weeks ago. No, just last week. Sorry. Last week we had Honor on, where I had her testify. She was lovely. And she testified to her boyfriend and the 2 babies that had died, that she lost, all before she was 30. And I brought all 3 of them in, channeled for her, gave her the comfort, the closure, the communication. And she's in the book. She has just sent me photos, and I just sent it to the editor. So as you can see, the book keeps evolving because new people keep coming into my life for me to help. So it adds another chapter or another section to one of the chapters. So the negative is the drain. The negative is everybody has a question. Nobody has boundaries. Everybody thinks I'm just their friend, but I'm not. I've earned degrees. I've earned a living. I have my white coat like doctors, has my name on it. Just like doctors, I am Dr. Linda, okay? So it's real, people. No, you can't just have a free reading. On the show, that's different. But if you want my help, hi, I haven't talked to you in a long time. I just need to know if you can help me. Yeah, book an appointment. Then they disappear. Nobody wants to pay. And then there's all those people that do pay because they respect the practice, the practitioner. You go get your hair cut, your nails done, you see the gynecologist, proctologist, cardiologist, nutritionist, whatever. You got to pay. I'm no different. I am a professional. Okay. I have done shows for 30 years, as you know, as part of building my brand long before the internet. So I'm nobody on the internet, but I was somebody pre-internet. So I'm trying to rebuild and get my name back out there, because I fought doing the YouTube thing for since 2009. I was invited to do YouTube in 2009. My mom had just passed away, and there was no way I could even think of trying something new, because I was in shock and grief, and I had just lost the job with CBS Radio, and then my mom died, and I had my TV infomercial, Wicks of Wisdom on TV, that I was juggling, and it was all starting to collapse. And if you understand real stress, no human can handle everything. You can't twirl all the plates. You need help. So I had to let all my dust settle for like 15 years and figure out where I was going. And now we've built the radio station. I got the channels going. New marketing is coming out. The candles are going back out there. I've gotten into integrative health, which is part of the metaphysics of the psychic part, because we're a mind, body, spirit. But if you're watching, absolutely, it is a different dimension. I'm on a frequency you'll never tap into. I'll get into that later. Let me do some of what I'm talking about, that you can ask questions, so I don't lose my train of thought and bounce all the time. The integrative health, as you see on the Tuesday show with Sharon Winters and me, we are trying to make everybody out there understand the diseases that we are experiencing, not just from the Cupid needle or the companies like Appeal, which we spoke about on the Tuesday show. Appeal is a company that Oprah, Katy Perry, Bill Gates, and hundreds of others raised $670 million to create this chemical spray that goes over all the organic fruits and vegetables that you cannot wash off, which causes disease and cancer and other diseases in your body. Whoever are in charge of us, the world, are finding ways to keep poisons and negativity in our systems so that they can sell medication, or they can make money off of the sickness. Now, back up. I have a bachelor's in health ed, a master's in public health. And when I got out of school in 1977, nothing's really changed. It's still about big business, keeping people unhealthy, while people like me in preventative medicine, hey, Peter, wow, I want to talk to you. People like me want to see us healthy, strong, and out of disease. Now, one of the products I highly recommend, which I talk about all the time, is the DNA nutrition. As I've said, and this is on my website, folks, under Integrative Health, just send me an email that you want me to walk you through it, and I will sign you up. You will feel energy like you've never felt. But the beautiful part is you swab your cheeks. The swabs go to the company in Texas. It's HIPAA compliant, it's private, it's not government, so your DNA doesn't get out there. It's all computerized. You just get a little barcode. As you can see, it's nothing but a barcode. And once they analyze your genetic makeup from your mom and dad, you find out what you inherited from both sides and what your hotspots are. With me, I've got depression, anxiety, heart disease, cardiovascular, high blood pressure, all that came in hot. And I inherited from both sides of my family. 3 of the relatives at the time have had open heart surgery. My grandfather, grandmother are now deceased on each side of the family. My father had open heart surgery in his late 50s. I saw him last night. He's 94. He's still here. But what I inherited from him or my mom, I want to lessen that genetic hotspot so that I stay healthier longer. So by taking a clinical dose, nutritionally balanced product based on my genetic makeup. You cannot find this at Whole Foods or Costco or anywhere, because nobody does it. They want you to buy 18 to 2,500 bottles of this and that and this and that, but you don't know the milligrams or micrograms or the proportions your body needs. Your body is not my body. So it's customized and clinical dosages of nutrition for each human being. contact me off there and I will get you started. One of my guys in Washington, D.C., I texted him yesterday. He said he's now 2 weeks into it and he's feeling the energy. Now, there's another company that Sharon and I talk about, which detoxes the glyphosates, which is in the sky, it's in the air, it's in the food. It's not just the appeal sprays. It's the weed killer. It's in the soil where the vegetables grow. It's in the grass that the cows eat and the pigs eat. So wherever we go, we're being intoxicated environmentally. Okay, that's all public health. I have known about this for years. My first job out of school was industrial hygiene, so I did environmental industrial health prevention for an aerospace company, the people inhaling fumes and vapors while building missiles. It's all the same. It's all environmental. But now I'm more on the individual helping level, like for you and me. I don't care about them. I don't want to be at a big platform with 5,000 people. I don't need that. I want to help you. So if you're here and you want help, let me teach you how to strengthen your body, how to detox. There's the other company that Sharon and I are signed up with where it detoxes the glyphosates in 90 days. I was about 83 days in and I called Sharon. We talked about it the other day. And I said, I feel really good. She goes, Linda, it's 90 days because the body gets rid of the metals with these capsules. Then there's a green drink that you drink that's all pure nutrition. It's superfoods that you're not getting proper nutrition out there. We think we're getting nutrition. We think we're off sugar and carbs and all that. But yeah, that's fine. We're watching what I eat, whether it's paleo or keto or high carb, low carb, everything mixed, whatever. But all the food, processed or not, is still contaminated with pesticides, metals, strychnine, all sorts of weird chemicals that we don't want, nor do we need in our body. My job is to help you get healthy. Metaphysics is mind, body, spirit. Metaphysics is the combination of psychology and spirituality. Dr. Carl Jung of the 1900s is one of the fathers of metaphysics besides Hippocrates and Socrates and all those guys how many centuries ago. It's not new. I'm just the next messenger. I've had a passion for health ever since I can remember. I guess in college, I stumbled into a health class and I wanted to do something with it, even though going through school, I didn't find my niche. But when I was in epidemiology, I started understanding how the body really worked and adapted to disease. And I started learning about the trends and statistics. But I still wanted more of a practitioner thing, but I didn't have enough courage to go to medical school. I thought about it, and a few of my friends said, oh, you'd make such a good doctor. I'm like, me? I didn't see myself as an MD. My roommate's now a retired MD from school, and she met her husband in medical school, and he was a microbiologist. But, my life changed. Obviously, I became psychic. Then I became spiritual. Then I became metaphysical. So I got into metaphysics and found a program to combine the science with the woo-woo, which is metaphysics. I got the PhD, and then I was accredited because of the schools I went to and the applications I went through. But I combined science, which I believe, and metaphysics, which I believe, to help you see the whole picture. It's not this, it's not that. If you're open-minded, you can see all as to how we as humans work. My job is to get you at peace. My job is to keep you healthy. I would like to see you off medications, sugars, carbs, alcohol, everything that decreases your light, that decreases your spunkiness and your skin or your ability to communicate with others and stay healthy. They don't want us healthy. They make money keeping us sick. You don't need me to tell you that. You can read it anytime you want, regardless of where you go. It's the wheel out there. And there are those of us that know you can stay healthy on your own. If you want to detox your body, you want to get rid of the glyphosates, you want to get rid of the anxiety, the depression. I woke up one day like the past had gone. I wasn't freaking out like with weird thoughts about what I was going to do or who's in my life or about the past. All of a sudden there was a peace because my body detoxed and I was fresh inside. So a lot of the anxiety goes away, fears go down, the body starts to change. One of the products that comes in the package of the ULT, which means ultimate, is these pre-digested protein tablets. I take 5 a day, and they're called aminos 23, because within 23 minutes, the bloodstream is absorbing them. It's that fast. And you get the energy, you get the protein that you need, and there's energy. A lot of the fog goes away. I'm not saying it's the end all, but I will testify that the metals in my body, the glyphosates, the toxicity levels of how I feel, think, and move are different just since June. It is now September. That's on this product. On the DNA nutrition, I can testify that in the last 3 or 4 years on this, my body's changed totally, especially through blood panels. Not everybody has a physical reaction. There's one man that was on dialysis, and he's off dialysis because of his DNA nutrition. It healed his kidneys and the blood. And he did have a kidney transplant, but he did not need dialysis because of the nutrition. Another girl had Hashimoto's in the thyroid and autoimmune disease. Totally, after 3 years on the product, normal. Another girl was anemic, and she yelled at the company because there was no iron in her formula. They said, just take it. So now her anemia is gone because she's naturally absorbing iron in her food as a result of taking the nutrition. So let's back up. I became a psychic in a plane crash. I struggled for many years trying to figure out what to do with it, run from it, hated it. Other accidents happened, kept taking me to, different frequencies and dimensions beyond the third dimension we live in. The average person is not going to understand this because you haven't broken through that barrier. I do have a friend who's a chiropractor. He too had a near-death experience in an auto accident, and he understands my level of frequency because I heal him. Talk about negativity. He's, 15, 20, 30 patients a day. He comes to me to get it off of him, all the negativity, because we as healers take your stuff to make you feel better, but we still have to get rid of it. We all pick up other people's energy. I don't care if you're an investor, if you're a trader, if you're a banker, if you're a real estate broker, if you're a teacher, if you're a truck driver, a garbage collector. It doesn't matter what you do. We are energy. People are energy. We absorb everybody's energy. You can go to a party, a dinner, an event, any place, and all of a sudden you feel really good, and all of a sudden you meet somebody, like your energy just shifts, like something negative happened, or you don't like them, or you don't feel good in their presence, because you're picking up their negativity or their resentment towards you. And the other part is you get so stoked being around someone because you feel their light and their love and their attraction, whether it's sexual or emotional or whatever. You feel lifted by some and really down by others. Trust those feelings in yourself, and you'll start to really understand how you work. That doesn't mean you're psychic. It means you're more empathic or you're more intuitive. Psychic is where I have predictions. Psychic is where I know things a year or two or months before it happens. I have a client right now that has been bouncing off walls since March about this woman he's in love with, and he's been chasing her like crazy and takes her all around the world and travels and treats her like gold. But I said, wait until September, October. It's not going to kick in until then. But he's been with her all these months. Well, it's September, and guess what? All week he's calling with all the testimonies, the candles work, and this work, and the predictions on time, and oh my God. And I said, yeah, you just had to be patient. It will happen. We do a lot of candle work. We'll talk about the candles in a moment. The evolution of my career was all as a result of being traumatized at the age of 27 and wandering around till I was about 37, trying to figure it out. I lost 10 years because every time I stood up, I got knocked over again, or I had surgery or whatever. But I learned that the higher spirits, the gods, the other dimension were indoctrinating me. They initiated me, much like a shaman. I am a shaman. I'm a healer. But I don't beat the drum and wear feathers and stuff. I don't do the native Indian thing, but I am a shaman, and I heal people, as you heard with Alner on the last show. All the stomach issues she had in one healing are gone. I didn't even know she had stomach issues, but what I cleaned out of her affected her digestion. It's a big responsibility. I'm grateful for the chance to help all these people. I get angry when people think it's a joke because I get very passionate about it, especially because I've lived it and I struggled through it. And I learned when, like I said before the internet, there was no one to talk to. I had to figure it out on my own. Now it's easy. Everything's online. You can go to groups and chats. It's different. But 40 years ago it was different. Depending on your generation, we're all different. I like Peter's in the audience. Hey, Anna, Peter, he's into trades and stuff. I wasn't ready then. I might be now, Peter. So hit me up on my Instagram or my Facebook. We can talk about it again. I think I'm ready. The changes in life for all of us are just on a day-to-day basis. What you do to grow is up to you. Nobody can force you to grow. The only thing that forces you to grow is pain. You're in a relationship, it breaks up. You have a mom, dad, pet, somebody dies, it leaves, you hurt, it's pain, you grow. A lot of people don't grow. One of the women in my book, her son committed suicide back in the 90s. And I have pictures of this little boy. She called in on the air one night and asked, why did he die? And I just said, he committed suicide. So we talked briefly that he hung himself. And then she called me off the air. And in that reading, I said, I see like a donkey, a basketball, and overalls or something. She had no idea what I was talking about. And 2-3 weeks later, she called in on the show to say, I found a picture of my son at his 2nd or 3rd birthday. And there was Dumbo the flying elephant. I thought it was a donkey because I can't see everything. There was a volleyball or a basketball, and he was wearing overalls for his 2nd birthday. So I picked up what he was telling me as a visual to prove to her I was in touch with her son. Then I said he committed suicide because his best friend was sleeping with his girlfriend who he was in love with, and he couldn't handle it, so he checked out. And then I dictated the suicide note. Then that's just one of the things I do. So yes, it's very taxing, it's very draining, it's very real, and it's very sometimes overwhelming, sad. But the point of this story is the woman never let go to accept that her son was gone. Last time I talked to her, she was still grieving, didn't want help, didn't want to heal, didn't want to let go, didn't touch his room. A lot of people want to stay in the problem. I'm not about staying in the problem. I'll go through my moods, I'll isolate, I'll pull back, then I jump in. That's normal. But to stay 15 years, oh my God, my son died? No, that's not healthy. Oh my God, the dog died. Yeah, I've hurt for 16 years over a dog I had to put down. I have her picture right here. But her spine fell apart, and I had to put her down at the age of 3.5. Killed me for 2 years. So I got another dog who I lost last year after 14 years. And it took a year to heal from that. Time heals. Doesn't mean the pain goes away, but we heal. But through the healing comes the growth, if you're open to more. Life doesn't stop until we're done. The challenges that we all deal with, whether it's financial, emotional, personal, family, jobs. Life is a wheel. There's spokes in the wheel. And every day, one of those spokes or 2 of the spokes or 3 of those spokes have to be realigned to keep the wheel going, right? So if you can look at yourself, figure out what spoke needs working on for now. Is it your diet? Is it your nutrition? Is it disease prevention? You want to live longer. You want to break the habits that you were brought up with. You want to change to improve certain things. You want to enhance your financial security. You want to get a new job. You want to go back to school. You want a different degree. You want to quit your job and find another environment. Everything's fine. No one's holding you back but you. You. Me. I can be my worst enemy. I turned down record deals. I turned down a comedy deal. I turned down other opportunities that at the time I didn't know could have taken me into a different level. I wasn't ready, or I didn't see the future. And at the same time as I was doing all of that, something kept pulling me towards the psychic spiritual. I couldn't escape it. No matter what I did, this was still tugging at me. So I just keep doing it. Here I am. Again, more. Yes. Oh, Alvarado. Dennis, how are you? My gosh, Dennis lost his son. How many years ago, Dennis? The one that died was 21. Dennis, how old was your son when he died? I can't remember. But Dennis has come to me for readings many times. Just do some chat, Dennis. I'm glad you're here. You've been with me since I was on Kellis X in 2006, 7, all the way to 2009 or something. Dennis is still a long-time client, and his son died unexpectedly, about 5-6 years ago. His daughter's adorable. Dennis is still not over it. You will never, I doubt you ever get over the loss of a child. But Dennis goes on and he works and he shows up and he talks and he participates, unlike the woman in Illinois who doesn't. Dennis is here in LA. Thanks, Dennis. Peter, thanks. Misty, the questions you have were great. Oh, you heard me on Latino 96. Okay. Yeah, I was on another station called Latino 96.3. I was the morning resident psychic on a Latino station. And I guess the language then was Spanglish, which I had to learn, that the listeners were half English and half Spanish, but they heard me. And everybody wanted to channel one of their loved ones. It was a fun show for many, many months. And I'm still in touch with one of the people at that station, but they don't do the morning shows like they used to. And then the people that were the talk show hosts back then, one's in Texas running, I don't know, 15 stations or something now, different. I have a history, people, and some of you are here, and thank you, because I need some of my old-time followers to help the new listeners understand that this is a journey we've been on. But the journey is for each of us. We're all in God's world. You want to call it God? You don't want to use God? I don't care what you call it. I know that this planet didn't just happen. And I don't want to hear it's round or flat. I think it's round. Some people think it's flat. That's not what it is. We're here. We're human. They are trying to make us more humanoid, where I think they want us more like robots, or we may not know if it's me or a robot talking on the show at some point. I'll let you know if I feel like I've been transformed. But as of now, I know I'm still me, whoever that is for today, helping you now. So, psychic, I can teach you how to become more in tune with your intuition and your feelings, and how to figure out what's right or wrong, which will enhance your awareness. I cannot teach you how to become clairvoyant, because either you've got the gift or you don't. I do not buy into the classes that say, oh, let me teach you how to be a psychic. Let me teach you how to be a medium. Oh, you were born with mediumship abilities. I don't believe it, because if everybody had the abilities, everybody would have been doing it all these years pre-internet. So I don't believe everybody's had a near-death experience any more than I believe everybody's born with the ability to channel. I do believe we can open up different levels of our mind and our spirit, and I believe that we can all learn how to expand. What did they say? We humans only use less than 10% of our mental capabilities. Can you imagine only 10%? You're already intelligent? Think what would happen if we used all of our brain. My God, we'd be vibrating out there. Peter, can you send me friend request for a private and accurate reading now, because I see. Please don't do that, Venus. Please, Venus. Please, Rebel. Please block her. That's not cool. I don't go to you recruiting your customers. Don't come to me. I don't like that. So will you please block her, Rebel? That's really nasty. That's where I get upset. I'm sitting here on my time, telling you my experience. Then I got to have some bitch come in and try to steal you from me. You go to her, that's fine. Don't come back to me. I don't play that way. But I will be bitchy, and I will be rude, and I will stomp on you. I've had enough backstabbing in my life that I don't need someone stealing my audience. It happened before. But I also know Peter and Dennis aren't going to go call her, because I know them well enough. But she's not allowed on this show anymore. Rebel, send me a text or a message that you've blocked her, please. Let's see. That's just not good. It's just not cool. It's like if you're a realtor and you're selling something and I'm a realtor, should I go offer that person selling the house that I can do a better job? If you just bought a BMW, but I really think you should buy a Mercedes, should I go after you? Same thing. Stop stealing. It's karma. It goes back on her. You don't get to use my stage for your benefit, girl. Thanks, Peter. Same thing in your industry. You know, it's all competition. You're in trades and everything. Thank you very much, Rebel. I just won't put up with it. I've been doing this way too long. All the psychic shows you see out there and all how they do the calls and everything. Fred Missman from KBIG 104 FM. in Los Angeles in 1994 created the whole format. He created the format, the system, the call-ins, me, and with the engineers and the show hosts, and it took off 30 years ago. And then everybody's a talk show host, and everybody's a psychic, and everybody's doing readings. And then there was blog talk and internet. It's fine, but it started somewhere, and it started with Fred Missman. I'll have to get him on this show. He also does astrology, and he's really good at astrology. And he gets very shy, but he's brilliant as far as an astrologer and doing charts and explaining the houses and the moons and who you're connected to and what node is this and that. I'll see if I can pull him out of retirement and get him on the show at one point. You would just love him. And he can explain how he found me and created me back in 1994. And he knows I won't put up with the people like the one we just blocked. So we all work hard. I'm not the only person. There's billions of people on the planet. I've got an engineer in Louisiana. I've got a couple of you here in Los Angeles. I've got some of you in Louisiana and Texas. And okay, Dennis, at least you popped in. Say hi. I know I'll see you soon. Bye. He's on his lunch break. That was nice to pop up. Okay, he said I was on 93.6. You know, I did that show in 2006, 7, and 8, I believe. Somewhere back in there. I'd drive about 40 minutes in the morning to get to the station for a 6 o'clock call. And I was on the air for an hour with Nico, who was their show host at the time. It was a fun show. Thanks, Dennis. So, everybody thinks they can do something. But we're all passionate about what we do in our own worlds. Do we want to change, grow? Sure. Do you have opportunities? Fine. If you want to start something new, go study. Get a mentor. Take the class. Go apply. I can tell you how to get there. I can tell you who to talk to if you give me names, but I can't do it for you. The other thing I can do for you deals with my Wicks of Wisdom candle line, which are right here. After becoming psychic and after figuring it all out and after getting on radio, during the radio time between 1994 and 1999, I was introduced to candle magic in 1998. And I was taught by a man named Michael here in Los Angeles, and he taught me how to use certain essential oils with herbs. And then there's powders somewhere, and there's all these different bottles of oil. They're not labeled because you don't get to know what they are. You cannot go to apothecary and say, I want a bottle of this and a bottle of that and a bottle of this and make this formula. That's my secret. You're not going to learn my secret of my oils any more than you're going to be able to have a psychic come on and ask for your business. Then there's petitions. The petitions are words pertaining to you, whether it's love, healing, money, legal. I had one girl call yesterday about her husband's immigration papers from Africa. I have helped people get their immigration. I've helped people get married. I've helped people get pregnant. Where doctors and their sex lives weren't working, but the good luck and the health and wellness conceived 3 different people. So what is it? I took Santeria, which is a form of magic and a religion, and I combined it with Kabbalah, which is a form of spirituality and religion. And I made my own Wicks of Wisdom, taking away the occult so that anybody can participate without getting hung up on, oh my God, it's dangerous, it's wicked, it's pagan, it's Santeria. It's none of it. It's candle magic. It's been around forever. When I was studying Kabbalah with a rabbi who's now deceased, Rabbi Gordon, Joshua Gordon, here in Los Angeles, we were reading the Kabbalah one day, and it was talking all about candles. I said, Rabbi. He said, yes, and it comes from somewhere. So if Kabbalah is over 3,000 years old, I didn't make this stuff up, people. And just so that you know, wax was never colored until man discovered dye could go into the blubber that they got from the whales that makes the wax to make a candle. Okay, so I didn't create it, but what I did do is I created formulas to help you with love, money, moving, removing blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, bad luck, bringing the soulmate in, getting rid of one you don't want, making someone of the third wheel go away when they're interfering with a relationship that is really right for you, which is sort of like the one I was telling you about, the guy who's ecstatic that it's all happening because we got rid of the guy that was in the way, that the girl really didn't want. And it's not hurting anybody. It doesn't hurt. This isn't black magic. It's not ritual that's going to really hurt. What it is, if you think of Kabbalah, the candle in Kabbalah represents the soul of man. All through this show, I've been talking about our soul and how to heal with nutrition, right? The soul of man has a wick. The wick, when lit, is a flame. That flame is light. That light is God, right? So once you put the herbs and oils and powders into your candle per the directions I submit to you after you've placed your order, I teach you what to write on your petition that gets burned in the flame. So you're giving God, the universe, the light, whatever you want to call it, your intention, your wish, your whatever. Don't say you're manifesting, because it's not really that. It's more than that. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. Manifestation, I think, is your ideas, your goals, and you go for it. And, oh, well, I got it. Did you manifest it? Of course you did, because you worked for it. It didn't just pop off the ceiling and go, wow, here's $500,000. Wow, I really saw it and it happened. No, you had to work. I think we all have to work. But the candles work. Wicks of Wisdom work. If you are watching the show and you want to learn more and you order the show, my energies are in the candles, yes. And a lot of people feel it working even before the box is delivered. I've heard it all the time. But I also burn the candles for people for a certain price that I disclose off the air. But yes, you feel my energy in the box. You get 3 candles, the 4 bottles of essential oil for that formula, the packet of herbs, the 3 sheets of paper, and the powders. And you get a description of what to do. There's a video, there's a PDF file. All of that's given to you on a private page that you don't get to know until you purchase, because it's part of the deal. Anyway, we're almost at the end of the show. It went fast. I love talking about all this. So I've had 3 near-death experiences. It's real. The body and the soul separate. You see life outside your body. You get, like with me, I became very psychic. I was stressed out for 4 months. The first 4 months when I was out of my body, till I started to integrate with what was the walk-in, which I explained, the psychic explained to me about a walk-in. I didn't understand any of it. 42 years later, I do. I've worked real hard, and I hold to my own. Just like you saw with this woman, she wants to screw with me. You don't get to do that. You can try, but I also know how to squash people too. I know how to keep myself pretty protected. My main goal is to help you learn to become your own alchemist. You can make more money. Peter, you do a set of money and success power candles. Your investments are going to multiply because we'll have energized that trade or whatever. So if you're in a love situation and you want a little more action from him or her, then we do the soulmate power. And then I teach you what to write with their name and what happens. So if it's blocks, obstacles, negativity, bad luck, curses, you can't get anywhere, you feel like you're on a wheel all the time, that's the good luck power. lindasalvin.com or wicksofwisdom.net will take you to the page of all the candles that are set up beautifully. You see the 3 candles, the 4 bottles of oil, and everything else that comes with it. And if you're ready, send me a message. I'll give you 10% off. So metaphysics is all-encompassing of mind, body, spirit. As a health professional, I went outside the medical model or the health model of the physical Western medicine wheel, per se. I don't put down doctors, neurologists, surgeons, anybody. We all need them. I just happen to get to the core of certain problems that are on the spiritual, emotional level so that you feel better. If you work it all together, you're going to find ways where you're going to be stronger and healthier, where you're not going to need medication or you're not going to need as many doctors, because you can become your own doctor if you're eating the right foods or taking the right nutritional products, and help yourself detox from the chemicals out there that are interfering with our well-being. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. I'm available all the time. My office hours are 9:30 to 5 in Los Angeles. That's Pacific time. If you order a set of candles or you want to know more about the different nutritional products that I talk about on this show and on the Tuesday show with Sharon Winters, let me know. I'll get you set up. And the beauty is you can turn your family onto it or friends and other people, because it's all multi-level, or it's all, networking, and we all help each other, because if I help you, you're going to help them. They're going to help somebody else. And yet at the same time, we profit. We help each other heal. It's all about healing. The planet needs a healing. I wish I had enough candle formulas to heal all the negativity and the spiritual warfare that's going on with the dark and the light for the next couple of years. We're still in it. We're still in it. We're going to be in it till 2030. Thanks, Peter. Sweet. We have a ways to go, people, but each of us have light, and we can shine that light in our groups, in our community, which Candy Finnegan and I talk about on the Wednesday show. So I've got Transformational Tuesday with Sharon Winters. I got Recovery Wednesday with Candy Finnegan. Tune in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm here. That's the end of the Starlight Cafe for today. I'll be back next Thursday with a fun reality show star who wants to discuss things with you and me, and wait till you hear what we have planned. So be sure to tune in next Thursday. In the meantime, let me hear from you at lindasalvin.com, or hit me up on Facebook, or however you want to find me. I'm all over. Have a blessed week, you guys. Thanks for supporting the show, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today's program with Dr. Linda. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.